Welcome to Kauffman Stadium, where the buzz is in the air about the Royal All-Stars. It's Game 3 of this three-game series between the Athletics and the Kansas City Royals. For the first time in 10 years, Kansas City is sending two players to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, left fielder Alex Gordon and catcher Salvador Perez. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Physiak. This is indeed a wonderful time. Alex Gordon is a young man who grew up 3 hours from here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and he said a chance to celebrate with his family making it to the All-Star Game as a member of the Kansas City Royals. And for Salvador Perez, a terrific catcher, and this is a guy who may be going to the first of many All-Star games. .302 batting average thus far, 4 and 36 in the power departments. And for Alex Gordon, not only the offensive numbers, but back-to-back years winning a Gold Glove. Joining me now is Rex Hudler. And Rex, Ned Yost has done this 10 times with the Milwaukee Brewers as their manager, now at the Royals, and he said he gets emotional every time he tells a player they've been selected.
You know, that's great to hear that and feel that energy from Ned Yost. It's a proud moment for these guys and their families. There's no question about it, Fizz. But how about the Kansas City Royals? They got to be pretty proud to send two when the last time they sent two was in '03. These are their leaders, the future of their ball club. Nice to see the nucleus. Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon, certainly their families, they'll never, ever forget it because it doesn't happen all the time. That's a tribute to their hard work, the success. Alex Gordon and his 3 walk-offs this year, Salvador Perez, the way he contributes offensively and mainly defensively. These guys are well-deserving, and it won't be much longer. We'll see a few more Royals get in there as they continue to pile up the wins with these two fantastic athletes. Congratulations.
Our pitching matchup today for the Athletics, it will be A.J. Griffin, a tough right-hander, against the outstanding sinker ball of Luis Mendoza. And when we come back, Joel will be talking about the Royal starter. That's next.
At Kauffman Stadium of the season. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg out here in the outfield, and Luis coming off of his lowest inning start of the year, tied for lowest at 4 innings pitched. Felt really good in his bullpen before the start last time, but just did not have it when he got out there as he got knocked around by Cleveland. What he's noticed, he says, is other teams making adjustments through the scouting reports, and he's seeing other teams being a lot more patient. So he's going to try to make those adjustments on his end and see if he can throw some more strikes early, get ahead in the count, and go from there. It's a battle of pitchers with long hair. Luis Mendoza and A.J. Griffin. Royals baseball is coming up next here at Kauffman Stadium. At Kauffman Stadium of the season. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg out here in the outfield, and Luis coming off of his lowest inning start of the year, tied for lowest at 4 innings pitched. Felt really good in his bullpen before the start last time, but just did not have it when he got out there as he got knocked around by Cleveland. What he's noticed, he says, is other teams making adjustments through the scouting reports, and he's seeing other teams being a lot more patient. So he's going to try to make those adjustments on his end and see if he can throw some more strikes early, get ahead in the count, and go from there. It's a battle of pitchers with long hair. Luis Mendoza and A.J. Griffin. Royals baseball is coming up next here at Kauffman Stadium.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Missouri Lottery. Play the Powerball and Mega Million Scratchers game to win 100 grand or more. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealer, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. This game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. Welcome back to the K for the final game of this series between the A's and Royals. KC is 6-3 on series deciders this year. And how about these memories for the kids? All-star Alex Gordon talking with the kids and sending them off for a race.
I love that.
It is fantastic.
That's beautiful. Those kids will never forget that, Fizz. Every day there's memories at the ballpark, especially here at the K.
And Alex telling his outfielders, let's go. It will be Dyson beside him in center field and Lorenzo Cain off to the right field side.
And I'll bet you Alex is saying, who can get some Trevor Turf on him first?
Well, he made that all-star game, and his mom was here last night, and when he came out of the clubhouse, he immediately threw his arms around his mom, and they shared a wonderful moment for about 20 seconds. Coco Crisp will lead off for the A's. Jed Lowry bats second, then Josh Donaldson, Cespedes, Moss, Jaso, Reddick, Young, and Sogard go for the Athletics against the big right-hander from Veracruz, Mexico, Luis Mendoza.
Okay, Luis, it's your pitch, and it's your opportunity to show Ned Yost and Dave Island that you deserve to belong in that rotation. But you got to attack. You got to trust your heavy sinking fastball. Now, the home runs, that's not that big an issue. But throwing strikes and getting ahead of guys is. The 34 walks again against the team with the most patience in baseball is here, the Oakland A's, and they're awaiting. But he's got to trust his sinker, mix in the curve and sliders. But sometimes you're going to have to throw that curve for a strike because these guys will spit on it. Alex Gordon, he's back out there. 45 outfield assists the last 3 seasons. Leads the world. Fantastic. Dyson, track him down. Go get him.
And there is Alex Gordon. He was Kansas City's ambassador of last year's All-Star game. Even though he did not make the game, he said it was so special for his city, Kansas City, and he remembers last year so well.
I don't cry at all, and I actually cried when I saw Billy get announced and all the support he got. So I think just playing with him the last 6 years and growing up with him as a minor league and major league baseball player was pretty special. So it's an honor to be kind of in his shoes now and to represent Kansas City.
Alex Gordon cried? Oh my gosh, Fizz, I feel like crying because look, it's emotional. It's exciting to see that kind of passion that builds within such a young stud like Alex. He's well-rounded, especially emotionally. It's a beautiful thing he's going.
He and Salvador Perez will be headed to New York City for the All-Star game, but they've got another week to play, one more at home, then on to New York and Cleveland. And here is Mendoza's first pitch, ball 1. Luis struggled with his control on Tuesday versus the Indians, allowing a pair of first-inning runs on 2 hits and 2 walks. He also hit a batter, and Coco Crisp has very good plate discipline, and Luis Mendoza needs to get that call. We just saw his sinking fastball settle a bit low. Home plate umpire is Marty Foster.
Calls are important, Fizz. No question about it. He's all around the strike zone here in this particular at-bat. However, you don't let umpires beat you. You pitch your game, and he's going to have to pitch to contact. Don't pitch away from contact. That's not what a sinker baller does. And Luis, he knows.
Crisp, very swift, but in a slump of lately, so you want to challenge him. And it is a little bit inside. Didn't miss by much, but right now a little bit of a tight zone, and Luis Mendoza kind of stares in at Marty Foster.
Hey, well, don't let that happen. Look, don't start already thinking, oh, he's not going to give me any strikes. It's way too early in the game. You got to challenge these guys.
You might remember in this ballpark, Marty Foster was behind home plate when Billy Butler argued balls and strikes. He threw him out of the game along with his manager, Ned Yost. Line to Hosmer, and immediately one pitch 2 outs.
Oh, what a beautiful thing. This could have really been a tough hit if it got by Hosmer. And they would have been off to the races. They'd had second and third, maybe more. And Fizz, that's baseball.
And sometimes those moments, even early in a game, could decide the outcome.
Got that right.
Josh Donaldson, the batter, and he has been incredibly hot. And he has been left off the All-Star game, even though his numbers warrant. 317 average, 15 home runs, 57 RBIs. And he goes after the first pitch, pounds it to Moustakas. A walk, the line out into a double play, and a ground out. Mendoza only needed 7 pitches to get through his first.
Work that defense, Mendy.
All-Stars Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon. And here's the lineup that he signed today. Gordon will lead things off. You might remember he missed 2 days because of that injury to his right hip. Tejada goes number 2. How about that? Hosmer back at 3. Butler 4. Kane 5. Moustakas, Kataras. Give Salvador Perez a day off because he has had a little bit of a soft tissue bone bruise on his leg. And that lineup will be facing A.J. Griffin, who's been fantastic this year in the first inning.
Well, you know what? If you look at that body of work, that's not too shabby either. 87 strikeouts and 109 and third tells me he's got a little something. Now, his something is 88 to 92. He's going to sink his fastball. He's got a 67 to 68 mile an hour curveball and a great changeup. He'll use that changeup a lot like the last 2 pitchers have in this series against the Royals.
A.J. Griffin, I told you about his first inning. He has a 0.53 ERA in the first. 1 earned run in 17 innings. And Gordon fouls it back, a 1-1 count.
But let's see if A.J. Griffin can top Mendoza's 7-pitch inning. And that's with the leadoff walk.
Two balls and 1 strike. He does have good command. 26 walks this year and 109 in the third innings. And he goes off speed to Alex Gordon, who fouls it back 2-2. Alex told us that as soon as he found out from Ned Yost, his skipper, he went outside the clubhouse. His mom was there, who had driven down to watch the team play in Lincoln, from Lincoln, Nebraska. And he said, we hugged for about 20 seconds, and my mom started crying, and I got choked up as well. Went home and told his son, his little son Max, and Max said, Dad, we're going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, his mom, Leslie. Way to go, Les. Way to take care of your boys.
A leadoff walk to Gordon.
She got 4 boys, Fizz, and I'm going to tell you, she might have an All-Star this year, but she thinks all of her boys are All-Stars. That's the kind of work ethic that was inherited to Alex. Mom cared about her kids and the boys and took care of them. And now look at your all-star, Leslie. Way to go.
And we had a chance to visit with his dad, Mike, when they had the father's trip to Tampa and Cleveland. He was a big part of coaching Alex back in Lincoln. There is Miguel Tejada.
You know what? That interview that Joel does before games on his pre and post game shows are so good. And to hear him interview Miguel Tejada this morning, he kept using the expression chills. And I don't know if people could understand the way he said, but that's what he meant. He had chills. He had chills in his body when the first time they told him, and he said he had the same chills for his teammates yesterday when Ned announced it in the clubhouse. And you talk about Alex Gordon, how he cries sometimes, so does Miguel. Emotional players, even though they hold it in, some of them, they still get touched by moments.
Oh, just barely foul.
Oh, that almost was touched right there by the third base bag. That would have been interesting.
And Tejada went to 6 All-Star games, most as a member of the Oakland Athletics and with the Baltimore Orioles. Had 1 home run in the All-Star game. Went up 4 for 12 overall.
Yeah, and he made a point, too. He had so many great shortstops when they chose him that year. Derek Jeter, Vizquel. I mean, some of the greatest in our era. That's what humbled him more than anything.
Gordon has stolen 5 bases this year. He's on the back end of a double steal in the late innings last night. A game the Royals won 4-3.
I love the fact that Miguel's in that second spot. Ned Yost, good job. Way to get some energy in that number 2 hole. Let Alcides Escobar take another mental day, a couple in a row, to try to get himself right before they head on that road trip. And put Miguel in there, who's productive. He's you never know what's going to happen. He can make some things happen. He lets up with 2 strikes lots of times and hits that little hole between first and second. That's probably what he's looking to do here.
He is 3 for 7 on this homestand. And he pops it up. That will get back and out of play, so we'll try it again at 2-2. And Griffin has thrown 4 more pitches than Mendoza did in his first. I know you wanted to keep track of that.
That's right. And they both had leadoff walks. However, against Tejada, he's going to throw him high fastballs because he wants to challenge him. He doesn't think he can hit one out of this ballpark here. We're going to stay up in the zone a little bit with him. Hopefully he hits some lazy fly ball.
Wind is blowing out towards left. And this time Tejada will keep it on the field. A pop-up in between the pitcher's mound and second base will be taken care of by Jed Lowry. 1 out.
All right, Bob Melvin, the A's skipper, wasn't pleased with yesterday's game. He said his guys were too sloppy. We've got to clean it up a little bit here. And so it's up to Chris Young to help patrol that center field area there. Okay, a couple errors. Last couple starts, like this guy, he's a good athlete, but you can't play every day. He's their day warrior.
There is strike 1 to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer 0 for 3 yesterday, but his sacrifice fly late tied the game. And then, of course, Dyson provided the game winner in the bottom of the 8th, rolling one up the middle. That is to left center field. Playable for Cespedes. 2 outs. So the Royals are hoping that Billy Butler can come through after Alex Gordon walked. We told you how tough A.J. Griffin has been against every opponent this year. Only 1 run allowed in his 17 starts. 1 run allowed in the first inning of 17 starts. That is incredible.
You know, that can all change in one swing, though.
Absolutely. I'm hoping it sets the stage for that.
So you're hopeful Billy can hit it a ton.
Rally Sauce has been out this week as the Royals are 3-2 on this homestand. High in the air, right center field. Chris Young pulls it down. The Royals are shut down after the Gordon walk in the first. Top of the second inning in Kansas City. Chris Price in the Sprint Crown seats. He is out of Blue Springs, Missouri, and they won those seats, so they got an opportunity to go to the Sunday Fun Day game.
Thanks, fellas.
How about that? Give yourself a suntan and watch Big League Baseball.
You might even be able to get a little siesta, a little 20-minute nap maybe. Of course, until you're woken up by a sound off of the bat of a young Royal, or even an older Royal. Doesn't matter.
Cespedes, good power numbers, 15 home runs, 42 RBIs, but only a 223 batting average, only almost 70 points lower than last year, and he takes a big rip at a breaking ball from Mendoza.
I think he's interested in lousy singles, Fizz. The way he swings. He's looking to take a ball for a drink this afternoon, and he's got close in game one. He had a couple of balls out there. Dyson robbed him.
In that cleanup spot, again, chases a breaking ball, and if Luis can keep that low, and Dave Island has told us all year long, when Luis keeps that sinker down where it looks like it's going to be at the knees and then dips below and keeps his curve down as well, he can be an excellent pitcher.
Yeah, there's a fine line between hanging a curveball and keeping it down in the dirt.
Hit sharply up the middle, and that might be the difference right there. Here is our Sprint Unlimited Answers question. Who should have been named to the American League All-Star Game? The Unlimited Answer Sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in today's Unlimited Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game courtesy of Sprint. Text 432-432 to vote. Grant Balfour, Josh Donaldson, Greg Holland, and Irvin Santana. Irvin, even though he only has a 5-5 record, a 2.90 ERA, 94 strikeouts against 24 walks. And of course, there are the Greg Holland numbers, which are off the charts. And Rex, he's the one guy I really think deserves to go.
I would too, but you know, if there's an Oakland A fan out there, you're saying both of our guys should be in. You know, you're not gonna, but not everyone gets in. Balfour has been perfect this year. Just broke Eckersley's all-time consecutive saves record. It's been held by the club since Eck was there.
Gordon racing over, and Alex with a nice sliding catch near the foul line.
That's
Love that
special.
ovation.
That's your all-star. Okay, hit a long run to this. And some guys are going to wait and dive head first. Gordon, he waits a little extra, half a step, and then takes care of his body by going on his backside like that. That's a lot easier to do that than it is to go belly first.
Remember, he injured his right hip a few days ago and had to sit out for a couple of days, but always get the effort from Gordon. Yeah, Gordon also says when the wind whips around the ball, it will push the ball back on the field, any ball slicing. So he figures he always has a chance to get to a ball on the line. John Jaso, the batter. A strike.
But what I was talking about earlier is when you were, Fizz, about the breaking ball. Dave Island wants him to keep it down, yeah. But in his last start, Cleveland Indians had him scouted pretty well. They spit on that breaking ball because they know that it's going to start up around your neck, around your letters, and end up in the dirt. So they just took it. And he walked 4. Only went 4 innings. Sometimes you got to be a little more creative.
Kotaras with the throw, but advancing is Cespedes into scoring position.
Okay, that's a wild pitch by Mendoza. That's his 9th. That leads the staff. And lots of times now, Kotaras did a nice job keeping him in front, but Cespedes was ready. Watch him above your screen there. Look at, he took off the minute he saw that ball in the dirt. That's a heads-up play. You want to advance. Nothing wrong with the block.
He's throwing a lot of breaking balls early in this game. A's came in first place in the American League West, a half game up on Texas, who lost yesterday. And the A's losing to Kansas City, but they didn't lose any ground in the standings. 51-37 is Oakland. Kansas City at 41-43. Three-two count.
Well, you know how nice it is to get your first inning out of the way with under 10 pitches. I mean, that hardly ever happens. But Mendoza did it with 11 after walking the first guy. Well, Irvin Santana, he only needed 6 pitches yesterday.
A walk now to Jaso. That's 2 walks in the game, and this is part of the Oakland excellence. I told you they are number 1 in walks in the American League with 331 now. But Kansas City actually had more yesterday. They had 6 walks to the A's 2. Won the game by 1.
That guy right there, I talked to him for a long time before the game about his offense, and he's the hitting coach, Chili is. And I said, Chili, how about all the walks? You know, you are a big guy on base percentage. And he said, Hud, if there's one thing that our offense I can get credit for, that's all the walks. Because he preaches, don't let him get you out on his pitch. He's proud of that stat.
They also have veteran hitters. Crisp 33, Lowry 29, Brandon Moss 29, Jaso 29. Here is Josh Reddick, who has suddenly emerged in this series. 3 hits, 3 runs scored, and a couple of RBIs. Fouled off. Reddick missed a little time because of a right wrist injury. But since that time, allowing it to heal, he's batting .270, has shown good power, more with the extra base hits than the home runs. Last year, you remember, he hit 32 home runs, only 3 so far this year, although he did miss a month with that right wrist problem. Runners go, and the pitch is taken. Kotaras' throw will not be in time, and it's a double steal for Oakland.
Well, you know, Kotaras, he finished the season with the A's last year, and they know he's not a great catch and throw guy, so to speak. But if you can get a jump, you take it. I'm sure Melvin tells the guys that. Cespedes got an excellent jump. Kotaras has thrown out 25% of runners, 5 for 20 this year, so that's not a bad mark. But it's not his strength. Getting on base and hitting homers are George Kotaras' strength.
Royals will play their infield back with the exception of Moustakas, so they'll give up a run to get an out. And Reddick takes ball 3, and Mendoza not very sharp with his control early. He had that fortunate first inning after he walked Crisp with a 3-1 count, but then Lowry lined into a double play and Donaldson hit the first pitch for a ground out. Reddick to center field and deep, and that's going to split the gap and score 2 runs and make it Oakland 2-0 with Reddick taking second on the double.
Well, when Luis falls behind, it's like any pitcher. You got to come in there, and they're waiting for it. And I don't think Dave Island's going to be telling him that, oh, everything's okay. He's saying, hey, look, you know what? We're going to go to that pin if we have to. We need this game here. Pick up your tempo and get in that count early. Throw early strikes, because we can't afford to fall behind these guys and count on our offense to pick us up again.
Urban Sandana did another terrific job yesterday, even though he did not get the decision. But for the 12th time this year, Santana went at least 7 innings. He's got at least 6 in all of his starts this year. And even though Santana was handed a no decision, kept his team in the game and allowed the Royals to come back on Hosmer's sacrifice fly that tied it in the 7th, and Dyson's hit that won it in the 8th. Reddick has now driven 4 runs in this series. And the batter is Chris Young, and he takes strike 1.
Chris is hitting 200 with runners in scoring position.
Young takes it tight. Luis, missing with that fastball, falls behind the Oakland A's Chris Young.
Chris Young is hitting .322 with a couple of doubles, 3 homers, and 5 ribbies over his last 11 games. Before that, he was only hitting a .182 over the last 14, so he's been better. And Bob Melvin trying to get him in that lineup some way, somehow. And you can tell that just the tempo. Mendoza does not look confident. He's posturing around. He's taking way too much time in between pitches. And you know what? I don't know how he's going to survive without still throwing strikes.
Well, he challenges it with a fastball, and Chris Young swings and misses. And this is a guy who will swing and miss a lot. We remember his days with the Arizona Diamondbacks, striking out 140, 150 times a year. He also has very good power, 140 home runs in his career. Reddick at second base, good speed there. And fouled off Kataris.
Okay, he's got to find a way to fight his way in there. Mendoza does, and trust his sinker. You hear that term a lot. Trust your stuff, but it's the truth, and that's what Dave Island preaches.
Luis threw 7 pitches in the first inning, has needed 24 to get just 1 out in the second.
Throw the ball with conviction. That's another one of Dave Island's terms. Not pitch it with conviction. Throw it. Okay, Young, they're trying to get him inside, and Young's getting more comfortable and more comfortable in there. So you got to be extremely careful, especially with the counts full like this. You don't want to walk him. But this guy, he can put the ball in play hard.
starts ago, Luis took a shutout into the 7th inning against the Atlanta Braves, a fine offense. But since that time, he just does not seem like he has as sharp command. Scattered 5 hits in 7 innings against the Braves with just 1 walk. Four straight have been fouled off by Chris Young. Athletics have a 2-0 lead on a double by Josh Reddick that scored 2. One on who had singled Yoenis Cespedes, the other Jaso, who had walked.
More pitches you foul off, the more confident you get.
And Young chases a breaking ball away from him. And finally, after a long duel, Mendoza wins it by striking him out.
Okay, that's a good spot, especially after pounding him in and he's fouling all these pitches off. He's in hit mode. So you slow his bat down with a really perfectly executed pitch.
Now Eric Sogard. Ball 1.
Actually, Fizz, a breaking ball like that, it speeds the bat up. And you slow it down by blowing 4 cheese fastballs by guys, and they're behind that. Luis will use a 4-seamer at times.
Sogard to left center field. And Gordon can't reach it. Reddick will score. Throw to second base will not be in time. And Eric Sogard makes it 3-0 Oakland.
Okay, Alex Gordon just nipped this ball. Almost got it. Good timing. Couldn't quite glove it. Thought he was going to make another great catch. He thought so too. But Alex is the first one out there to get Trevor Turf on him. You see how Reddick sped up there, crossing the plate? Because it dawned on him that if Sogard gets thrown out at second base and he don't cross the plate, that run don't count. So there was a little heads up right there saying, oh, look, oh man, I better get home.
The one thing I've been impressed with this inning, well, let's take a look at that play you're talking about.
Yeah, now he knows that if you don't make the catch, he's in. There's 2 outs, okay? Then all of a sudden he goes, uh-oh, they might throw him out. Oh, I don't want to get in the doghouse. Seen that happen.
The other thing, Rex, that impresses me is the fact that the 2 hitters, Reddick and Sogard, are not trying to pull the baseball. Both of their hits have been to the opposite field.
Against a sinker baller, he wants you to roll your hands over and try to pull him. But if you have that approach to go to the opposite field, you don't roll over. You don't hit ground balls.
Royals are warming up Will Smith now in the bullpen because Mendoza falling behind just about every single Oakland A. And after throwing just 7 pitches in the first inning, he's really wearing himself out in number 2. That's fouled off. Well, Bruce Chen, I beg your pardon, not Will Smith. I just saw a lefty throwing from up here in the broadcast booth. And Steve Kurtenbach, our outstanding director, was able to show me a close-up, and that it was indeed Bruce Chen. Coco Crisp with a 3-2 count.
They are definitely working Mendoza, and they are making him expend pitches, and that's exactly what makes Chili Davis so happy, the hitting coach, is that we want to get into their bullpen.
The 35th pitch of the inning is knocked to center field. Luis Mendoza will watch as the throw comes home wildly, and this is not going well for Kansas City in the second inning. Coco Chris waits him out, gets a pitch to his liking, singles to center field. Sogard scores to make it 4-0 Athletics.
Okay, that ball, if it was down low enough, Hosmer would have cut it off and they could have got the final out there. But the throw was a little bit up off the mark. Geisen was wanting to throw him out. And the throw went awry.
So the 8th Athletic to bat here in the second inning will come to the plate in Jed Lowry. Ball one. Mendoza had gone through a stretch where he's pitching extremely well. He had lowered his ERA steadily since May 1st, but the last two starts against Cleveland last week on Tuesday and then today against Oakland has not gone well. And there's another base hit to center field. And I don't know how much longer Ned is going to wait.
Can't wait any longer at all.
Here he comes.
And after that, 11 pitch first. Excuse me, 7 pitch first.
So we'll see Bruce Chen rather early this afternoon as Oakland has jumped out to a 5-0 lead. Not find his release point in this second inning. He was all over the place, falling behind the Oakland Athletics, who taxed him and made him work, and the result was 5 runs on 5 hits in the second inning, and now he's gone. Well, parents, sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday Fun Run, and much more. Membership is just $25. Be a part of the fun all year long by joining at Royals.com/Blue Crew. Bruce Chen comes out of the bullpen. He's a former starter, 34 starts last year for Kansas City.
You know, in 18 games in the bullpen, you showed that ERA at 2.08. A lot of people would go, really? Bruce? But he's been used in the right spots. This is his first real long man duty here. But he's come in and he's been really good in certain spots. He's still got the same amount of pitches, changing speeds on his fastball, slider, curve change. He's just, you know, he's like an artist. He finds ways to get guys out without overpowering them.
That one is flipped foul, and the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Advantage Chen. Well, the one positive you got to take from this, Rex, the Royals lead the major leagues in comebacks.
That's right.
28 this year.
It's still way early. I mean,
and they did roar back from 5-0 deficit to 1 over the Cleveland Indians,
right,
who were charging into first place, finally overtaken by Detroit recently. Single to center field. So that's 6 hits by Oakland in the second inning, and they are just doing it beautifully, just lining single after single, not swinging that hard. It's just very quality at bats by Oakland in the second inning, and they will bat around and send the 10th man to the plate. Yoenis Cespedes, who started with a single, and he would come around to score on the Reddick double. What this does, though, is your defense has been on the field on a hot Sunday afternoon for a long time, and because your starting pitcher had fallen behind the count, they get back on their heels, so they've got to refocus and be ready for a ground ball that they can get that last out.
these players got their sunscreen on, no fizz. I think they're going to be all right. They get out of this inning here, get back in there, get a little slug of water.
Exactly.
They're looking for a cookie. Get up there and look for those things. Bust them.
Chen does such a great job trying to force the opponent to attack his off-speed stuff, and then he'll run that fastball in on you and pop you up. He had Cespedes reaching for that one at 77 miles an hour and barely was able to touch it. Kansas City lost the first game to Oakland 6-3, won yesterday 4-3. Greg Holland nailed down his 20th save. On his hands, popped up. Bruce Chen says he wants it, and it's a rare occasion where you see a pitcher catch a pop up, but Bruce did just that. And the Royals are gotten the A's out in the second inning.
Nice catch, Bruce.
4th of July where Lorenzo Cain led the Royal comeback. They trailed by 5 in that game, and Lorenzo got him started with this grand slam off Jimenez.
Oh, and the roar of that crowd, that will lift those muscles to hit one over that fence. These guys here at the K that come to watch these players play, they get excited when they get big hits. And hopefully they can get back in this game, because we've seen them do it before. Even, you know, they went the first 5 innings in game 1 against Tommy Malone and didn't scratch him.
That young person is staying in the shade to watch Lorenzo Cain lead things off here in the bottom of the 2nd. Deep in the hole, Jed Lowry. That's a nice play.
Sure was, you know, and Jed Lowry, he's an important player on their team. He can play all different spots in the infield. Got a good bat.
And as Mike Moustakas comes up, it's just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller time later in today's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Well, Moose hit his 2nd home run in the last week. Last over the bullpen in right. He got a changeup from that young pitcher Jared Parker yesterday. Deposited deep to right.
Well, if he's patient, he's going to see some more from Griffin. Griffin loves his changeup. Steady climb with that batting average. Get that up by walks and knocks. Base hits to left field, center field, right field. Hit it where it's pitched. Moose is on that path right now. He's trying to build it up.
And as you see our Toyota League leaders, Kansas City is indeed #1 in comebacks this year. They must come back from a 5-0 deficit early in this contest. Yesterday was their 28th comeback.
Hey, there's that one finger changeup, or excuse me, curveball that this guy flips up there. AJ Griffin. One finger. So he really doesn't have a lot of command with it, but it's a good slowdown pitch. And he comes right back with that 4-seamer up top.
He's a young guy who really does know how to pitch, and he was the A's 13th round pick, 2010, out of the University of San Diego, and he's already in the big leagues. That's a rope down the line, but foul. Moose will check his bat out.
All right, let's take a look at that one finger curveball. See if we can see it on our slow motion camera. Okay, brings the ball to his glove. And that's his 4-seamer. That's not his one-seam curve. But that's still nice action. Seeing how he got on top of that 4-seamer, Fizz, that's what you got to do.
He really does pitch upstairs more than we thought he would, because he was pitching down in the strike zone in the game faced Kansas City back in May.
So this will make George Brett happy, this at bat right here. And Pedro Gafal. Seeing
Next
some
pitch will be
pitches.
the 8th.
Kept seeing some pitches, you know, making him work.
Boy, he has him reaching for everything, and he pulls that ball to the right side and grounds out to first. But Griffin is nothing but putting on, taking off. It seems like he'll go from 90 to 80, 90 to 80.
Let's see if we can see him. Okay, there it is. See that? Squeeze it right there. Stop it. See how this finger is off the ball here? That for the index finger, the middle, that index finger is off the ball, so he's got just the pressure on his middle finger. Okay, and without that top finger on there, that adds a little bit more control to the ball. So he doesn't have really good command with that pitch. However, he throws it anywhere from 67 to 68 miles an hour. It's a good off-speed pitch for him.
And they say he has tremendous confidence.
Okay, let's see what the pitch does. Like any curveball, starts up high, but still not a lot of depth to it. It's not coming down 4 feet, 3 feet. It's a show-me pitch and designed to do exactly that. What he did to Moose.
Here is former Oakland A George Kataris. He was a big part of their success story last year. 6 home runs in 27 games.
When he swings, Fizz, he stays real short with his swing. He goes right to the ball. That's where he gets his pop.
Hits that one well down the line into the corner, and a home run for George Kataris.
Did I say short and quick to the ball? Because that's exactly what he does. He has very little movement. And when he strikes like a rattlesnake. Quick and poisonous, right to the point. He hooked the pole, Fizz. It's beautiful. Look at George.
We're going to have Nick Kenny check him for venom.
That is
your description.
That is a short strike to the ball.
Here's Elliott Johnson as the Royals have cut it down to 4 immediately in the bottom half of the second inning. It's now 5-1.
Okay, so George already did something good in this game. I'd say great, but that's good. I mean, so he's done his job. Now hopefully he'll do more.
Lowry throws out Johnson. Kataris goes deep. KC cuts the Oakland lead to 4 and 5-1.
He's lethal. Don't come in there.
Join us for the next summer fireworks on Friday, July 19th when the Tigers come to town. Stay after the game for a fireworks show courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Plus, it's Buck Night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks are just $1. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets for summer fireworks and Buck Night. And also, that's Mizzou Night. And you can get your tickets at Royals.com/Mizzou. You might see former Tiger Max Scherzer, or former Tiger pitcher for the Royals, Aaron Crow, pitched that night. But you can get your tickets at Royals.com/Mizzou because the first 2,000 fans with the special Mizzou ticket can take home a limited edition Royals cap. For tickets, go to Royals.com/Mizzou. And there's Aaron Crow, terrific Tigers pitcher.
Sometimes when you get a guy like Bruce who's not a hard thrower, you hit it like he throws it. Moss just lobbed that over Hosmer's head. Just perfect timing. Didn't hit it hard.
1 ball, 1 strike to John Jaso, who worked the walk. And while he was at the plate, everybody seemed to advance on a wild pitch or stolen bases. did a good job out there. This is a very fine Oakland team. Extremely disciplined at the plate. Starting rotation that's very strong. Their last, what is it, a month and a half, 46 games, their starting pitchers have a 23-7 record and an ERA of 3.1. This is a complete team. And they've got it picked up. Brandon Moss just went, oh man. Backed out by Miguel Tejada. Hud, when the throw was made, he put both hands on his knees and went, oh, this is another fine mess I've gotten myself into.
Oops, he says. He's even leaning. Look at, he's trying to get a jump. Look at Bruce, though, the deception with that move. A lot of times a left-hander, they all have a good move just because they're looking at you. But when you use your head, and look at Moss didn't even move. He goes, all right, I'm out, but I'm gonna at least draw one throw. But Bruce's head position is what fooled him there. As he started his windup, he looked home. Sometimes just that head is enough to trick a runner.
And Rex, you are a doctor of body language. What were your thoughts of Brandon Moss's body language when the throw was made over to first base?
Can't really say what I wanted.
What grade would you have given it?
What I want to say was, oh, blank. Really? I'm going to say that was a humorous moment.
So would you give him a D or a D minus?
I'm going to give him an A. Right here he says, okay, I'm going to get in trouble by my manager, but I got to at least draw a throw. So that's what he's saying right now. He said, okay, the play's not over. They haven't tagged me out yet.
Guitar is back, but it's in the second or third row.
So I'm going to give him an F for getting that far off and getting tricked, and I'm going to give him an A for handling it after that.
He had a look on his face like his mom just came into the kitchen and he had his hand in the cookie jar and he wasn't supposed to take one. Good job by Bruce Chen.
That's a great move.
Jaso gets one just by Elliott Johnson in the left.
Okay, hit it like he throws it. It's two guys in a row now just lobbed it out there. And I'm not getting on Bruce but Bruce he's a guy who relies on changing speeds and tricking guys. That was an inside fastball that he fought out that way.
Well, quite frankly, Rex, it's been very impressive hitting by Oakland. We talked about the two extra base hits, Reddick and Sogard not trying to pull Mendoza's sinking fastball, a curveball. They just stayed with it, hit it to the opposite field, drove in runs.
I'd agree with you. Sometimes you got to give the hitters credit. 8 hits already. They are staying within themselves.
Reddick with 4 hits in this series, and 3 of them are extra base hits. He doubled his first time up, knocked in 2. He now has 30 RBIs this year. And he belts this one high and deep. That is a long, big fly.
And the A's offense continues to have good at-bat after a good at-bat.
Josh Reddick was like Rumpelstiltskin much of the season, asleep, but the Royals certainly woke him up.
Okay, this is a ball that's on the inner half at 85. And he was quick. That's all it was. He just turned quick. He's able to recognize the location, and he said, I can put my bat on it.
He came into the series with 13 extra base hits. He has 5 in the 3 games of this series.
He's turning it on.
7-1 Oakland, and now the batter Chris Young. 1 ball, 2 strikes. When this game is over, we fly to New York to play the Yankees. That will be Guthrie, Shields, Davis, and Santana. 4-game set. New York sending Hughes, Sabathia, Nova, and Pettit. on his hands.
It's just a second homer that Bruce has given up to a left-handed batter. Well, if you turn the field around left, Chris Young, he'd already have a couple big hits.
No doubt about it.
He's having a hard time keeping that ball fair.
You know, that reminds me of the story that Ray Fosse told us yesterday about Charlie O, the mule, whose cage was down the left field line. And they had a problem with Charlie Finley treating the mule better than the players. So what they did was they directed their batting practice towards the mule and fouled so many balls towards Charlie O. And you'd hear him hee-haw when a foul ball would strike his backside.
And he's just out in front of another one. Had plenty of distance there. And Young's even shaking his head. Yeah, Ray said they turned the batting cage a little bit more to pull so they could direct their shots towards the mule, Charlie O. Poor Charlie O, man. He didn't deserve that.
You had a chance to ride Charlie O, the younger version.
You had to bring that up.
Yes, I did. Had it been a closer game, I would not have, but it's a 7-1 game here in the third. And
got a lot of game to play.
Exactly. But the Royals pitching must settle down. We are only in the third inning, and Kansas City has given up 5 runs in the second, knocked Mendoza out of the game, and here in the third, a 2-run home run by Reddick has made it 7-1. This is one of those rare games where one team is running away from the other. The last 15 games between the Royals and Oakland, only 34 total runs have been scored by Kansas City, and that's an average of 2.2 runs per game. KC has 1 win against the A's this year against 4 losses, and Young swings and misses and strikes out.
Okay, that's 2 good at-bats that resulted in strikeouts by Young. So he's frustrated right now. Saying, I just missed a homer. I just missed balls down the line. That's how frustrating this game can be.
Get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Saw his fastest at 87. And 68 was that big breaking curveball. Now he is trying to get Sogard to stretch his strike zone, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Royals with 2 All-Stars this year. Alex Gordon and Salvador Perez will represent Kansas City. Perez not playing in today's game because he just has, they wanted to give him today off. He has a soft tissue bone bruise on his leg. You might remember a game earlier this week where he legged out a double, and at the end of it, Ned Yost and Nick Kenny went out to see if he was okay, but he had fouled a couple of balls off of that same spot. And it's more painful running than it is catching, but they wanted to give him a day off because they have 4 with New York, then 3 with Cleveland, and then the All-Star break. And obviously Salvador won't have much rest there because he is one of Kansas City's 2 representatives. Will join Joe Mauer of Minnesota and Jason Castro of the Houston Astros as the 3 catchers representing the American League.
I knew that Jim Leland favored Salvador. He likes it.
Kane will take care of Sogard, and that does it for the Athletics. They do score 2 on the Reddick home run. Is sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat. 2009, Mike founded Bessie's House, a restored home that offers a safe and positive environment for Kansas City's homeless population. Through Bessie's House, Mike and his volunteers have been able to offer showers, laundry, and meals while mentoring and supporting those who need it. A great gentleman, being of service. Mom's got the water out. That is great. The baby's getting ready to nod off for the afternoon, saying, Mom, we need some offense. Give me a drink. Here we go. Bottom of the third. Gerard Dyson will lead things off for Kansas City. A.J. Griffin has a 7-1 lead.
Base runners. Got to get guys on.
Dyson, good game yesterday. 3 for 3 with a walk. Also drove in the game-winning run. It's his first 3-hit game since July 31st last year against the Cleveland Indians.
The Royals could make Griffin work.
Dyson takes a strike. He thought that was ball 4. It looked a little up. May have been letter high.
Yeah, Dyson probably saying, "Throw me that one again."
Well, he does have good command. When he wants to get it up, it is up. When he wants to get it down, it is down. A.J. Griffin, very impressive this year. 109 and a third innings pitch coming in. 98 hits allowed and only 26 walks. 87 strikeouts. Dyson shoots it down the line. He does have 2 home runs this year, and both of them right down that line.
That's a pretty nice catch. However, the Redhead lost the handle.
That hurt a little bit.
Hey, he got on the rebound though. See now, he had to stretch for it.
Ouch. Again sent back by Dyson.
So Kurt Young, pitching coach for the Oakland A's, I'm sure he's talking before the game in their meeting that they have between the pitcher and catcher every day about how, you know, some of the guys in the Royals lineups, they're not home run threats, so pitch them up in the zone. Let them hit the ball in the air.
And another fastball up in that strike zone.
That's what he's doing. Basically, he's challenging guys with belt-high fastballs. And the only way you change that is if you bust a couple of them.
How about this? Almost identical pitches. Fouled back 3 straight times. He also hooked one down the line at home run distance, but hooked foul. So they'll try it again at 3-2. And Rod sends one to right field. Reddick says he has it in right center and makes the catch for out number 1.
Hey, you know, Griffin and Jaso, they just said, hey, look, here it is. And they won it.
Rex, I wanted to get your thoughts because I know you visited with Bob Melva today. The Oakland A's are in first place in the American League West, yet they have only 1 representative in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mentioned it to him in his office today, and he looked at me and kind of stared a hole through the back of my head, and he said, you know what, I've had conversations with Jim Lee over the last couple of weeks. And some guys are going to make it and some aren't. He said, certainly we have more deserving than just one. As Bartolo Colon, you know, he's had a great season, so he's their lone guy. He said, however, there's still a lot of time between now and the All-Star game. And with Bartolo Colon pitching on Sunday, a few days before the All-Star game, he's not going to pitch in the game. So maybe they'll add Belfour, their closer. And depending on injuries, you know, you never know what can happen. You can get a few more guys on there. So he said he's not too worried and concerned right now at this moment.
Yeah, there's so many guys so deserving out of the bullpen. Balfour, 22 for 22 and save opportunities this year, an ERA of 1.8, but so is the Royals' Greg Holland. He is not going.
Yeah, those numbers that you read off in our pregame radio show today on Holland, pretty good case that he's an all-star.
Well, I mean, the numbers show he's a slam dunk as an all-star, and what he showed yesterday, three batters he faced, struck out the side. He's the only closer to do that this year 3 times.
You know, Griffin, he's not exactly throwing belt-high fastballs to Gordon because he knows Gordon might take him deep. But he's mixing his pitches on Alex. The 3-2, he's got to give him one.
Alex goes to left field, and that ball will drop. Foul. There has been so much conversation. That's why we thought Alex Gordon, when you talk about complete package, Rex, he deserved to go. And as we take a look at our sprint question, who should have been named an all-star, 60% say Greg Holland. Irvin Santana gets 22%, but Greg has been an incredible pitcher for Kansas City this year. Overall, his numbers 56 strikeouts in 33 innings, and there is a ball that will drop into left field. So Alex does get on with a 1-out base hit.
All right, he got him a walk in his first at bat, and he's got the knock. There you go. That'll keep your average from going down. Beautiful.
Rex, I asked Al Broughton, who does our graphics, to come up with what Greg Holland has done since he last blew a save. 13 for 13 and 0.86 ERA. Look at the strikeouts to walks. 4 walks, 37 strikeouts in only 21 innings.
I like the opponent's average. They're not hitting squat off him.
And I thought he should at least deserve to be part of that fan voting, just like Yasiel Puig has been. Now, Yasiel Puig in his 6 weeks, and it's almost identical stretch that Holland has been there and Puig has been there. Puig hitting .407 with 8 home runs and 19 RBIs in 31 games this year. And everybody's on the Puig bandwagon. But for Greg Holland, in his craft, his numbers are similarly off the charts.
But every year we talk about the guys that didn't make the team that were deserving, and that's unfortunate. That's just the way it is. There's not enough room for everybody.
Yeah, on our roundtable today, Danny Matthews said it's like March Madness. We always talk about the 64 teams that get in, and then we talk about the ones that deserve to go and didn't get in.
That's it.
Of course, we see Greg Holland every single day, and to his teammates, he is an all-star and one of the most valuable players on the team. Tejada sends it foul.
Because Greg Holland will be an all-star. He just needs a little bit more time. Still hasn't had one full season as a closer.
And there's 1 week to go, and you never know when a guy gets injured.
That's right.
I can't play.
You never know. That was Melvin's comment. Immediately going to the positive, saying, hey, look, okay, we deserve more guys, but there's still time.
Tejada popped up to short as Griffin went out after him with off-speed pitches and fastballs up in the strike zone first time up.
Okay, but you know what the Royals are doing is they're starting to get to Griffin. And they're being selective. They're making him go deep into counts. You know, they're doing what they can do to try to come back and scratch a claw and get some guys on and get a big hit.
They have forced him to throw 58 pitches on a warm Sunday afternoon. Kansas City down by 6, a long way to go. But still working the count, working. And there's Tejada roping one foul.
But that ball's caught. I bet it's caught on the line too, Fizz. Whether they got gloves here in the stands or not, they make the plays. Did that guy catch that on the line?
I did not see it, but I did not hear the crowd roar, and that usually happens when they catch you with one hand.
I'm not a betting guy, but I've seen the body of work by this crowd here. Ooh, big breaking ball. That got it. Miguel, he don't want to go. But he fooled him. Good spot.
That was that one finger curveball you talked about that is like a lollipop at 68 miles an hour.
He don't want to, but he's got to go.
First pitch fastball. Eric Hosmer, 13 hits, 5 home runs his last 8 games. And he ropes that one foul. We're leaving the count at 1-1. Here is the All-Star final vote for the American League. Steve Delabar, Robertson, Uehara, Shepard, Benoit. Quite frankly, you go, where's Greg Holland?
Yeah, you do. I'm sorry.
There's that big bender at 70 miles an hour, and Hosmer fouls it out of play. Now he's down in the count 1-2. Eric tried to time it, skied it in the air, right center field. It will be caught by center fielder Chris Young. Royals get a 1-out hit by Alex Gordon, but leave him stranded. The third and final bobblehead of the Hot Dog Derby Series features the Condiment Relish on Saturday, July 20th versus the Tigers. The first 10,000 fans through the gates will receive a Relish bobblehead courtesy of Hy-Vee and Farmland. Gates will open at 4:30, so be sure to arrive early. For tickets, go to royals.com/hotdogderby. We're hoping for a little hit-a-ton rally sauce. Kansas City finds themselves down 7-1 here in the top of the 4th inning. Coco Crisp will lead things off. Switch hitter batting from the right side.
A lot of guys that switch hit, their right sides are their natural sides coming up, first starting in Little League ball and moving on up. They all hit right, and then sometimes they switch over. Coco Crisp, he's no different. He's hit 233 as a right-hander and 281 as a left. 6 home runs from the left side, 3 from the right.
His real name is Covelli Lois Crisp. And that ball is knocked to the second baseman, Miguel Tejada, who throws him out. For the National League final vote by the fans, Desmond, Freeman, Gonzalez, Pence, and Puig. And a lot of people going for Puig, even though he's only played 31 games this year, and he has really had some wow moments, throwing runners out on the bases, his tremendous power. Jed Lowry, the batter, fouls it off, strike one.
He's as an exciting a player as all these other hot shot guys coming in the last couple of years. Trout, Harper, Machado. And you get young, talented break in like that with that kind of explosiveness in their game, you can't help but turn some heads.
But it is just about what you've done the first half of a season. You and I have a dear friend by the name of Tim Salmon. Every single year he would get off to a slow start, hit about 200 in April, then it would be 240 in May, 270 in June, and after that, Rex, he would hit 300 every month after that, but he didn't do it in the first half, so he never went to an All-Star game. Lowry is on for the second time.
How could the great career that Kirk Gibson have? He never was an All-Star either. You know,
but because of his great finish in 1988 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, he was named MVP. And they were talking about not just what he did with the numbers, but his influence in that Dodger clubhouse. And then, of course, we all remember that dramatic home run he hit off Oral Hershiser in Game 1 of the World Series. I'm sorry, Dennis Eckersley. The only reason I brought up Oral Hershiser is because I remember watching the game and turning to my wife when Gibson hit it out for the game winner, and I said, well, they're down 2-0. She goes, no, this is Game 1. And I said, Hershiser's pitching tomorrow. There's no way they're going to beat him. And quite frankly, Oakland was the better team.
Oh, yeah.
Jose Canseco, Mark McGuire, Dave Stewart, Mike Moore. And that was the year Hershiser was absolutely sensational. I believe a record of 23-6. He had that stretch.
Was that during that
consecutive
scoreless innings?
59 innings. Without allowing a run. Here is a young man very deserving of going to the All-Star game, Josh Donaldson, who has not. With Lowry at first base, Donaldson is now hitting .318. He also is in the top 10 in multi-hit games with 32, top 10 in total bases, top 10 on base percentage, top 10 RBIs, but no All-Star.
It's got to be disappointing for guys that are worthy and they hold their breath until they make the announcements. And when you're sure this is the one year I've got to be an All-Star and it doesn't happen, it can be really deflating. That ball was borderline. Donaldson was all around it. He looked like he was diving out over, trying to get something on the outside part of the plate. Bruce couldn't get that inside call.
More importantly, Josh Donaldson first in the league with 11 game-winning RBIs. So he has meant so much to the success of Oakland. When a lot of people thought they would be a flash in the pan last year when they went from 74 wins to 94. Everybody thought the improvements that the Angels made, Texas Rangers, of course, so good. But Oakland right there again. They clinched a winning record before the All-Star break for the first time since 2008.
Bruce is convinced that Lowry's going here, 3-2.
Instead, he walks Donaldson, and Lowry will take second base.
Bruce got to do all he can to not let any more runs cross to keep his team, give him a chance to come back. Can't give him any more runs here. A 2-run home run, I was just about ready to say that when it happened, but no more. Got to shut him down.
A rugged start by Luis Mendoza, who did not get out of the second inning. Chen then gave up a 2-run home run in the third. And Bruce and George with a long discussion about how they're going to deal with Yoenis Cespedes. With Lowry and Donaldson on, Bruce might see, well, we saw a double steal earlier in this game. Could we see another?
Make him lift it. Keep it down. And he got away with one upstairs. Roll a pair. He's a fly ball pitcher. James Shields and CC Sabathia Tuesday night in New York City. Ooh. Can't wait for that one.
Fly ball right side. Lorenzo Cain makes the catch. Lowry tags. He goes, and Cain throws to second base. 2 outs. Yeah, Yankee Stadium always seems to bring out the best in their opponent. And I'm so impressed with the Yankees this year, who, despite all those injuries they've suffered, are still within striking distance. They're 5 games out of first place with a record of 48-39 starting today. There's Sabathia. There's Shields. Top 5 in the American League for most innings pitched.
Horses, all of them.
Brandon Moss was robbed of a hit. Wonderful catch by Alex Gordon in the second, and single to right field in the third.
Strike one's important here. He got it. Get ahead, then work him down.
There are 7 guys in the American League on the All-Star team for the first time. Masterson of Cleveland, Crane, Chicago, Perkins, Glenn Perkins. Max Scherzer on for the first time, and he's likely going to be the starting pitcher, Rex, for the American League. 13-0 record.
I wonder when his last start will be before the break. That really plays into
exactly
whether they get a chance to pitch or not.
Perez, Kipnis, and Gordon also first timers. Barely misses outside. He tried to sneak a fastball on the outside corner.
So George Katara stood up and pointed to the infielder, saying, all right, guy at first base is moving. 3-2, 2 outs, and plays at first.
Skied to center field. Dyson keeps backing up, and near the wall in center field hauls down the drive by Brandon Moss. That was Billy Butler's moment last year, his first All-Star game at his hometown team in Kansas City, and he said he was extremely nervous stepping to home plate, and he kept on telling himself, just don't strike out.
Can you hear the energy that was at the K last year?
Oh, you and I were sitting together, and man, we were on pins and needles.
It was great to be a part of that. Billy Butler.
He said he had to call timeout, step out, because his back leg was shaking a little bit.
Why wouldn't you milk the moment? Those don't last forever. But just hearing the energy when he came to the plate gave me goosebumps just now.
Billy swings and misses. He flied out to right field his first time up. A.J. Griffin has thrown 66 pitches. Kansas City has made Griffin work.
And that's what you want to do. Continue to make him work until you can get to their pin. But you know,
2-2 count.
Having a 6-run lead, and I watched him walk off of the mound after that last inning, shaking his head and all that. That is not good energy. You've got a lead like that, you need to go out there and take it to your opponent. Have a little better body language about you.
It is off the leg of Sogard, the second baseman. That likely will be an error, allowing Butler to reach first base. Well, also making it for the first time is Salvador Perez, the young catcher from Venezuela who plays for Kansas City, and he told us before the ball game how important this moment was for him and his family.
My grandmom, she's like my mom, because my mom has to work, you know, and my grandmom take care of me when I'm a little kid, you know. It's hard for me, but I have to understand what's going to happen, you know. I just want to give it all the good I do in here for my grandma.
His grandmother passed away, and he left the team for about a week. His grandmother and mother raised Salvador back in Venezuela. It was a very emotional time, and he was glad to come back to his team, help them to a solid month of June, 16-11. And part of the reason he was gone for such a long time was to help get his mother back to the United States. He wants his mom to live with him here in Kansas City.
Yeah, you know, Fizz, baseball is played every day, no matter who's here or not. But there are times in human beings' lives that you got to leave, and that was a perfect example of, you know, a tragedy happening. You lose somebody so special like that. And in that interview, he said, all the good goes to my grandma. It's my second mom. So he needed some time away for his personal life. And that's what happens to ball players. And when you're in season, he took care of business and he's come back. And to be an all-star has got to be a huge, huge blessing for him and the entire family. Big one-finger curve gets cane.
Griffin has just his second strikeout. Now he'll face a lefty in Mike Moustakas. Mike grounded out to first his first time up, as Griffin worked him with fastballs, changeups, curveballs, really upsetting Moose's timing. And he continues to work upstairs. Griffin, big guy, 6'5", 230, out of El Cajon, California. But they say he has a confidence that belies his young age. At Yankee Stadium earlier this year, he shut out the Yankees his first time at Yankee Stadium, walked off the mound and saluted the crowd, took his cap off, and just Ray Bossi said it was a wonderful moment.
Well, it's free spirit, but it's nice to see a guy acknowledge the crowd after you've performed and you're a performer. And if they give you a nice ovation when you're walking off and you tip your hat, that's beautiful. you're being a professional.
There is a strike to Moustakas. It's a 3-1 count.
Okay, you know, if he's going to come back with another one of those belt high, Moose needs to let him know that he can't do that to him.
Ooh, that was in his wheelhouse, and he did just get underneath.
You got to tell yourself, a guy who's throwing a lot of high fastballs, I got to really trust my top hand. My top hand has got to really be able to stay on top so I can get to it. When you loop with your bottom hand dominant, you're going to get up underneath it.
They get just one. And there are 2 outs now here in the 4th inning.
All right, Moss, make sure of one. We got to get down that line, Moose. Keep a team in it here. With 2 outs, you never know. We've seen 2-out rallies before with guitarists. Man, all of a sudden, Lowry's coming in, Jaso's coming up there. They're saying, all right, now, in case you forgot, this is the guy who took you deep.
The Oakland A's said George was so important to their success last year. I mean, they loved him as a teammate. Guitarist joined the team after being acquired from the Milwaukee Brewers, and the club went 17-8 in its 25 starts. They would catch and pass the Texas Rangers on the final day of the season. Guitarist homered his first time up down the right field line. 4th home run this year. George only has 9 hits this year, Rex. 4 of them have left the yard.
Yeah, that'll tell you that he's dangerous. He's lethal. He's ready to strike at any time. Beware.
How about that?
51
9
at
hits,
bats,
7 extra base hits.
Yeah, and 51 ABs too. That's not enough for anybody to get anything going, but that'll tell you how much he accepts his role and how hard he works to be ready for his once-a-week start.
Takes a strike. It's a 2-2 count.
Same pitch he hit out. Most guys, when you're an extra guy and you play once or twice a week, you're hacking, you're swinging. He impresses me with his plate discipline.
George swings and misses and strikes out. We are through 4, and Oakland has a 7-1 lead over Kansas City.
Break takes us to Cleveland, and the home run by Carlos Santana. Some people talking about him being an all-star snub, but I think they'll take Salvador Perez's defense any day of the week. But how about this? They had a nice big 6-1 lead, and the Tigers stormed back. Some news and notes around the league. Torrey Hunter, oldest player with a double, triple, and homer in the same game since Dave Winfield, so that's pretty good stuff. That came yesterday. Andy Pettitte gets the win, 251st. Amazing. He ties Bob Gibson. And good to see Joakim Soria activated today by the Rangers. Rehabbed all last year here with the Royals from Tommy John. Had a little bit of a setback earlier this season. But the man who is third on the Royals' all-time save list is activated by Texas. Guys?
It's good to hear him getting back out there.
Well, Chen strikes out Jaso. Time for our AT&T U-verse rewind.
Tell you, 2 big hits from Reddick so far in this game. 4 RBIs has been the difference. He's driving their bus so far. And I got a comment on that on Joel Goldberg's his little recap there. Torrey Hunter becoming the oldest player to hit double, single, triple since Winfield. Winfield will be proud because that was the mentor for Torrey Hunter in his early Minnesota days. Dave Winfield was there, and he talks a lot about how Dave mentored him.
Just a single shy of the cycle.
Double, triple, homer.
Joe was also talking about the guys who got snubbed and guys who made that all-snub team. Josh Donaldson, obviously, and Grant Balfour, Greg Holland from Kansas City. Jacoby Ellsbury having an excellent year. He is leading the American League in stolen bases with 36, not going. Evan Longoria, Adrian Beltre. Those are 2 quality third basemen. So you have Donaldson, Beltre, and Longoria all not making the All-Star team.
Yeah, that's tough. Tough league. Especially for this Oakland A's fan who obviously is not in the same league of the Royals fans. I mean, that is called a clank.
Joe, your thoughts on that all-snub team?
Well, I think that we all know Greg Holland deserves to be there, but it's hard to really make too much of an argument when you've got 2 in the A's. One of the best teams in baseball has 1. You guys have covered that, and how Grant Balfour couldn't even be on that final vote list is amazing to me. I know I differ on opinion with you guys and Yasiel Puig, but let me read these numbers to you. These are from different years at the All-Star break. Pitching records, 9-5, 2.99 ERA. So that ball is going to be flied to left center field, and Gerard Dyson will handle it with ease. 9-5, 2.99. 12-5, 3.50. 9-6, 3.91. 10-7, 2.90. 10-8, 3.97. 7-6, 3.64. Those are the numbers at the All-Star break in 6 different seasons for Paul Splittorff. Never made an All-Star team.
Wow.
Dennis Leonard, 1976, 9-3 with a 2.88 ERA. Never made an All-Star team. The Royals, 2 all-time wins leaders. They never got there. So snubs, guys, have been a part of the game, a part of the All-Star game, and always will be forever.
Others this year, Adrian Gonzalez, Steven Strasburg, Edward Mujica, Howie Kendrick hitting close to 320, Jay Bruce from Cincinnati. Well, what it tells you is there are a lot of guys having pretty good years.
Yeah, there's just no room at the inn in New York.
At Citi Field this year.
Chris Young, he's going to do all he can to not get the hat trick. After having 2 really good at-bats, fouling pitches off. Oh, he almost made an out again on the excuse me out, but fortunately he went foul. Ty Waller, first base coach, he didn't have a chance on that last ball there. It was right to him, but he just said, let her go. Look at him. Teammates are giving him a hard time at that effort.
I was surprised that Johnny Peralta was chosen over Josh Donaldson, but he needed a backup shortstop. Although Ben Zobrist can play everywhere. That was a wise selection by Jim, Ben Zobrist, because he could play left, center, right field, first, second, short, third.
Managers love players like that. But, you know, having our two guys, Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon, be chosen by their peers, that almost is even better than getting voted in by the fans. Because that reassures the player that, yes, I have the attention of not only everyone, but especially the guys I compete against.
Rex, what about your thoughts? So a lot of people saying that Matt Harvey should start the National League All-Star team. And we're talking Jordan Zimmerman, 12 wins. Adam Wainwright's been sensational.
My thoughts are shallow, Fizz. You know that. But I'm going to tell you what. That guy there, he's a phenom. If there's ever been a close to a Nolan Ryan guy, I mean, hopefully he can sustain half of what Nolan did. But he's a power pitcher, and it's fun to see power. You know, they talk about the kid Puig. He's young, he hasn't got enough time to be an all-star, but he's got power and he's exciting to watch. Same way as that kid Harvey. I would hope that he got the nod.
Dave Eiland comes out for a visit. You were talking about your thoughts being shallow. Maybe we should start a program in Kansas City about that. Remember the Saturday Night Live skit, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy?
Right.
We could have Shallow Thoughts by the Wonder Dog.
Well, it wouldn't take that long, Fizz.
All right, let's go to a promo. Parents, bring the kids out to Kauffman Stadium on Sunday, July 21st for Kids Fest. This day we pull out all of the stops for the kids with entertainment and activities in the outfield experience before the Royals take on the Detroit Tigers. Plus, the first 5,000 kids 14 and under will receive a Slugger Bank, courtesy of the Kansas City Zoo. Gates open at 11:30 in the morning. For tickets, call 1-800-6-ROYALS or go to royals.com/kidsfest. Well, Bruce trying to keep this game 7-1. We are in the 5th inning. Eric Sogard back to the plate. He doubled in a run, scored, part of a 5-run second inning.
Well, obviously, Bruce is tricking some Oakland A's batters now. Get the chance to see him for the second time around. They're not getting good swings. They're checking their swings. They're holding them. They're like, oh. So it's all about an illusion. That's what Bruce does so well. He's hard for heaters in. Now, Reddick caught a fastball that Bruce tried to get in there on, hit a 2-run homer off him in the 3rd inning. But since then, he's walked a couple of batters, but they haven't hurt him.
Ball gets away from Kataris, and moving into scoring position is Chris Young. Athletics with 7 runs on 10 hits. The Royals with 1 on 2. Will Smith is warming in the Kansas City pen as Chen has thrown a lot of pitches. He had to come in the 2nd inning. Luis Mendoza gave up 5 runs in the 2nd after a 1-2-3 7-pitch first. Shallow right center field. This is trouble, but Dyson Speed denies that ball from dropping for a base hit. Sogard is robbed. All-Star Alex Gordon, the kid from Lincoln, Nebraska, a Cornhusker who grew up a Royals fan and celebrates for the first time. And he has been a story this year. 3 walk-off hits this year for Kansas City. Back-to-back years winning Gold Gloves. The Royals hope to see him bat 4th in this inning, as the first 3 will be, well, he'll bat 3rd. First 3 will be Johnson, Dyson, and then Gordon. Elliott grounded out to short his first time up.
He's really used that curveball effectively. He's only thrown it a few times, but on those few pitches, it's been strikeouts to finish guys off. He got Miguel Tejada on one. He got Lorenzo Cain on one. And then he finished off Johnson with one.
He worked Dyson upstairs in their first bat. Dyson actually had a very good at bat. 8 pitches, fouled off a number of offerings, and then got one upstairs and hit it to right center field. This one popped up foul territory, back and out of play.
Well, you know, that's how you're going to pitch to Dyson. You want him to hit the ball in the air.
He was able to stay on top of it yesterday and rolled a single through the hole in the 3rd inning, doubled in the gap in the 5th inning, and chopped one up the middle, staying on top of it, and went 3 for 3.
There you go.
Two outs. Time for our AT&T trivia. As Alex Gordon walks to home plate, who is the youngest Royals to be named an All-Star? Was it George Brett, Salvador Perez, Jose Rosado, or Brett Saberhagen? Ooh, some tough choices.
I'm going D.
That is a very good selection. Saberhagen, so young when the Royals won their World Championship in 1985, and was just dealing strike after strike right at the knees, 95, 96 miles an hour. And Salvador Perez turned 23 in the month of May. He's going to his first All-Star game, and Ned Yost was talking about him, and he said he is by far the best catcher I've ever been around. With the Atlanta Braves, Javi Lopez was good, and here's Alex Gordon going deep on his day after being selected from the All-Star game. He is 2 for 2 with a walk and one of those hits, a home run to right. Way to go, number 4.
Oh, that was a beautiful sound. 2 solo home runs. That's all the Royals got, but they've both been beautiful by left-handed batters, Kataris, and now Alex Gordon with his 9th. 9 home runs, and Salvy's saying, yep, that sounded pretty loud.
That ties him with Eric Hosmer for the team lead. What a way to celebrate. You get named to the All-Star game, and to prove it, that you are worthy, you walk, you single, and then you hit a long home run. Here's Miguel Tejada.
This is about the time that the Royals offense comes to life anyway.
Salvador not playing today just because of trying to rest his legs, and then again we have 1 more week before the All-Star break. 4 with New York, 3 with Cleveland.
But hey, look, just like he did the other day on his off day. He came in with the bases full of Royals and delivered with a double and cleaned the sacks off. So we might see him later.
Up the middle, Tejada has his first base hit.
Staying on top of the ball can do a lot for you, especially when you top it. 1 bounce on the dirt, Okay, it's got top spin, second bounce is always through, especially if it's up the middle. Tejada says, all right, I'm going to make that guy stop me because I'm going to 2.
So with Miggy at first base, the batter will be Eric Hosmer. And Eric, with 5 home runs in his last 8 games, flied out to deep left his first time up, and then missed his pitch and hit it to center field his last at bat. So 0 for 2. And he takes a mighty rip here and fouls it off, strike 1, as he got one in and down. And that was pitch 100 by AJ Griffin, and the Oakland bullpen is busy. Kansas City did have Will Smith warming in their pen, and we're guessing he'll come out for the 6th.
Yeah, I guarantee you Hosmer, at that last time up where he tried to time that big curveball and just missed it, like you said, he wants to do the same thing, and that was the pitch there. He just threw it to him, but Hosmer was a little bit out in front of it.
Blevins warming up for Oakland. Up the middle. Will it find center field? Yes, it will. So they pass the baton, and 3 straight hits, a home run and a pair of singles. And Billy Butler coming up.
Yeah, let me tell you, Hosmer, he's going good right now, because typically infielders, they play him over a little bit towards that left side of the infield, but that's a high fastball, but he guided it up the middle. They got something going here. Kurt Young, pitching coach, going to come out and talk to AJ Griffin and say, hey, AJ, look, they're one big swing away from getting back into this game, and we know how these guys come back and they never quit. So let's try to get it out here on Billy.
And Billy is due. He is 3 for his last 21. Billy had 29 home runs last year and has only 1 since the middle of May 14th. That was a right center shot off Jason Vargas, a left-hander in Anaheim, and he's hit 1 home run since that May 14th date. He waves at a first pitch breaking ball. Strike 1.
Yeah, but that was a 3-run bomb in his first at bat in Minnesota to dead center that really helped James Shields that day. So that was a timely one. But this right here can help him get back in the game.
He's down in the count, 0-2. Hosmer got his hit with 2 strikes on him.
.343 average with the runner at second base and beyond.
To center field. It will stay up for Chris Young, and the Royals are turned back. But Alex Gordon goes deep for the 9th time this year. He's going to the All-Star game, and the other Royal going there celebrates with him. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. And by AT Uverse. TV check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. 7-2. Oakland has the lead. Alex Gordon, though, with a perfect day, celebrating the day after being selected by the All-Star team and Jim Leland. Salvador Perez will join him in New York City, and Will Smith comes out of the bullpen.
Okay, what I like about what Will's done so far is the fact he's only walked one batter.
Showed very good command down at Omaha. The AAA Storm Chasers out his roll towards first base. Hosmer will take it, give it to Will, and they just do get the leadoff batter for Oakland, Coco Crisp, in this 6th inning.
We got Will Smith. He had to get over right on contact because Coco Crisp, he wasn't walking down that line. And he just barely got it. Wow, that's a literal tie right there. Didn't go to Coco. Look at their feet. They come down at the same time.
Will was recalled from Omaha on June 25th for his 3rd stint with Kansas City, the first 2 coming as the 26th man in doubleheaders. Started the 2nd game versus Cleveland on April 28th. But now he has come back for the 3rd time as a reliever, and he's done a very good job. As a matter of fact, in Minnesota, Ned Yost said he saved the bullpen. 5 quality shutout innings. The Royals would lose that game, but the bullpen was stocked and ready to go, and they finished off Minnesota in the final game of that series.
Now, Fizz, we haven't had expanded replay. I see it coming in our future, but I don't know how they're going to do it when they do expand it on close plays. Maybe it'll just be that determine the game. That ball's out of here.
Gordon watches it fly, and wow, that made it all the way to the fountains.
Ooh, I'll say that was a 10-pounder. Wow, Lowry says, I got fountain potential here at the game, but I just now showed I can do it. Will Smith, he threw him a breaking ball that hung, and that's just a perfectly timed swing. Waited to click, kept his hands back, and just got underneath it because it was already elevated.
Now Will to face Josh Donaldson.
But to finish my point, you see how far that ball goes. It takes a big splash. That last play we saw at first base. Now it didn't determine the outcome of the game or anything.
Moustakas in quickly. Donaldson slipped as he came out of the batter's box, and he grounds out. So 2 outs in the 7th inning.
Okay, Coco Crisp. Okay, this is Donaldson. Let's watch him. Let's see what happens here. Okay, he takes a big swing. Sometimes that happens. You know, you can't get out of the box. Moose sees it, so he says, I got plenty of time. Let's show Coco Crisp and Will Smith at first base. Now, if you're a replay official, and this is our super slow motion camera, how do you call that? I mean, both feet came down at the exact same moment.
I think it has to revert back to the original call.
There you go.
Now, what you can do, though, with technology as it is, I'm seeing in the future where the umpires just flip down some shades, then they have a computer right there, and they can read the screen and watch the replay that we're seeing.
Wow.
Correct the call. The only thing I don't want it to ever do, Rex, here's a look at that play again.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you're right, though, Fizz. They would go back to the original call that was made live.
Well, Joel would like in on this.
We need him in.
Well, there's Crew Chief Eric Cooper, one of the real good umpires in the game. And the one thing I hear from umpires all the time when I go down to talk to them and supervisors is there is no such thing as a tie. Either the runner beats him or it doesn't. In this case, both feet stepping on the bag at the same time, the throw did not beat him, so he would have been safe. That's it. It's actually, I think, on instant replay, a pretty easy call to make. There you go. Safe. there's no tie. The old expression is tie goes to the runner, right? Well, It's either the throw beats him or it doesn't.
He's out.
Here is Yoenis Cespedes. 2 out, a run home on the home run by Jed Lowry. The Royals had an inning pitch by Luis Mendoza, gave up 5 runs in not 2 innings. He knocked out of the game, and now Cespedes gets his second hit of the day. Both have been singles to center field.
George pouncing all over that ball there. Runner on, he don't want Cespedes to get into scoring position.
His slider showing a lot of break, too much so.
Yeah, he's a little bit out front with his release point, Fizz. On that particular pitch, which is a field pitch.
His entire career, he was a starting pitcher both in the Angels organization and now in Kansas City's. Moved to the bullpen in early June after starting, as I said, most of his career, and he posted a very good 0.84 ERA. And when the Royals wanted to get more work from Kelvin Herrera and use him as a starting pitcher in the minor leagues to get rid of the command issues that he was having at the big league level. And there's a swing and a miss, and down goes Brandon Moss, but a home run by Jed Lowry in the inning makes it now 8-2 Athletics. And our contestant is Donna Fortune from Wellington, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Donna will win $300. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Donna will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Donna, it's been done before.
This week.
And her name was Debbie. But she actually was the recipient. It was Lorenzo Cain that done it.
You're throwing all your D's in there, aren't you?
That's right.
Here is Jerry Blevins coming out of that Oakland Athletics bullpen. Jerry, the tall, lean left-hander from Johnson City, Tennessee. 6'6", 175, driven wet. Lorenzo Cain looking for his first hit. He is grounded out to short and struck out. The Royals have 2 runs on 5 hits. The A's have 8 on 12. Man, those
Blevins.
Go ahead.
He's a tall drink of water, Fizz. And he's got that perfect lean, long body. And he's got 90 to 94 in him. Hard and slow curve. He's got 2 speeds to that and a changeup he'll use to righties.
Blevins does have a Royal connection in the fact that he was the Chicago Cubs' 17th round pick years ago and then traded to Oakland in the Jason Kendall deal. And Kendall, of course, now coach in the Royals organization. He helps out on the homestands. Cain will drop one into left center field. That's a base hit. Way to go, Lorenzo.
Set the table up for Donna. But they'll need to get a big homer if that does happen. But, you know, look, little things at a time here. 6th inning.
Got 2 power hitters coming up back-to-back in Moustakas and Kataris.
But you got to have base runners.
Moustakas twice is grounded out to first. Now facing the left-hander Blevins, who was tied up with the off-speed stuff by A.J. Griffin. And he gets a pop-up here. Foul territory. Will 2 rows back. I remember back in the early 70s when the Royals were just building and Oakland was fantastic. The A's used to beat up on the Royals, the likes of Vita Blue and Catfish Hunter and Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando, and then Kansas City, where they took control of the American League West. Brett and McRae grew up together. Splittorff and Leonard led the way on that pitching staff. Moose swings and misses and down to the count. The A's were Kansas City's team from 55 to 67. Derek Norris is the new catcher for John Jaso. Breaking ball misses low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Blevins going to throw that big curve 2 speeds. One's a little tighter than the other. He's trying to get Moose to swing out of the zone on it.
Blevins really worried about Cain, who likely isn't going, and Moose drives one in the gap. Reddick will have to watch this one go off the wall. Cain's going to come home and score the team's 3rd run on the double by Moustakas. So I was really surprised at how much attention Blevins was giving Lorenzo Cain, who likely wasn't going to try and steal.
Yeah. 5-run lead. When you take your focus off that batter, he can hurt you. Now Moose, he was waiting for some cookie out over the middle, and too bad he couldn't get a little more elevation on it, or else that would have been out of the yard. Hits off the right center field wall. Would have had a 7th dinger.
Kansas City has cut it to 5 at 8-3. Back-to-back hits by Cain and Moustakas. who's now with 17 RBIs, and the batter is George Kataris, who's homered and flied out, and his home run came with 2 outs in the second.
Oh yeah, right down the middle. Look at how short that swing was. That's where you develop your bat speed. And you're talking about hit speed? That's going to leave the yard at over 100. Short, compact is where you get that speed from, not the long swing. Now he will go the opposite way, but not for much power. He likes to get up there and look for his pitch on the middle end.
The Oakland bullpen is getting busy again as Kataris hits it in the air, but that will get back and out of play and stay 1-2. Kataris 9 hits, 7 extra bases. Jesse Chavez, former Royal, warming in the Oakland pen. Again, back and out of play. And George came out of the batter's box and kind of tapped the side of the bat as if to say, man, I'd like to have that pitch back.
Fizz, you know, one of the things as the crowd starts to try to help George out here is when you have a baseball leading come from behind victory stat, 28 come from behind victories. You tell yourself you're in this game. There's not one Royal in there that don't think they can come back and win.
Barely outside. It's a 2-2 count Blevins has on Kataris.
And I guarantee you, other managers, they know these numbers. They know, and Bob Melvin knows. That's why he's scrambling another bullpen guy to get out there. Saying against these guys, no lead is safe. And you know, typically you say that against an opponent that has a lot of power that can get back in the game with one swing. But the Royals have a frenzy style offense that can attack at any moment.
In that 10-7 win over Cleveland, all 10 runs came after the 5th inning. Kataris putting together a good at bat against Blevins. And then he pulls it to the right side, foul.
He tricked him, but it went foul. He's still alive. Kataris, he just has 7 at bats against the lefty. And he had 1 hit, and 1 hit was a double.
The inning started with Kane dropping a base hit to left center. Moustakas then roped a double off the wall in right center. That plated Kane, and Moose at second. George takes it wide, 3-2. Elliott Johnson waiting his turn on deck. Chavez is ready in the Oakland bullpen. Ball 4. Great at bat by Kataris.
Walked twice in his last start when he hit that home run.
And Bob Melvin will make the pitching change here. The Royals do have a switch here to Elliott Johnson to bat, and then a left-handed batter, Gerard Dyson, and Alex Gordon to follow. Pitching change here at KC. Oakland leading by 5. Kansas City. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning of play. It's time for our AT trivia question and answer. Who is the youngest Royal to be named to the All-Star team? And the answer is...
I went with Sabes.
Jose Rosado, 22 years old when named to the American League All-Star team in 1997. Played with Jeff Montgomery.
These multiple choice we've been having a hard time with.
Yep. Jesse Chavez, the new pitcher. Elliot Johnson takes strike one. Jesse has allowed 7 runs over his past 5 games. And that was after pitching so well, yielding only 1 run in his previous 7 contests.
He's got a little sidearm action, does Jesse Chavez. He's fastball, curve, slider, change.
Johnson down the left field line, and that will drop foul. So he's down in the count 0-2. Elliott versus right-handers hitting .229 versus lefties .219 with 2 home runs. Chavez pitched for the Royals in parts of the 2010 and 11 season and was 2-3 with a rather high earned run average near 7. Swung on and missed, and Johnson goes down on strikes for the 2nd time. So Chavez gets an important strikeout. The Royals would love to get at least 1 more here in the 6th inning. They've closed the gap to 5. You might remember in game 1 they were down 6-0 in the 9th inning and scored 3 times and actually had the tying run at the plate before Balfour closed it out.
Kay Donaldson, he went over and whispered in his ear, Chavez, look, if he bunts, I got it.
Ball 1. Nobody up in the Oakland bullpen. Wouldn't it be great to have Dyson reach and bring Gordon up? Alex has 2 grand slams already this year. There's a strike. Two balls, 1 strike. Stock is at second base. Kataris at first.
See if Gerard can stay on top of the ball.
In there. Ooh, Dyson did not like the call, and it evens at 2-2.
Okay, it's right out over the plate. Doesn't want to take anything too close here. Those low pitches are the ones he can hit on the ground.
And he shoots that one through the right side. Moustakas will be held at third base, and Kansas City does have him loaded for the All-Star, Alex Gordon.
All right, Donna, I know you're at home and you're thinking, just like Debbie was thinking, well, maybe this could be the inning, being the Sonic Slam inning, that we could cash in twice on the same homestand, which would be a major miracle. Not only for the Royals.
Rex, you do know what Donna's last name is.
Fortune.
She can make a fortune with an Alex Big Fly. Moustakas at third. Kataris at second. Dyson at first. Foul ball. I would imagine Donna in Wellington, Missouri is getting a lot of phone calls and texts right now. Are you on the edge of your seat?
I am.
Indeed.
It's part of their comeback magic.
Over at Sonic, they're heating up the grill. Strike 2.
Man, that fouled off Alex's leg. He's coming way in. He don't want Alex to get anything out over that plate.
This was the first Grand Slam in the 10th inning in the rain at Detroit, over 430 feet. And then, of course, this one at the K 1 week ago. Outside corner, strike 3 called. Whoa.
Maybe it's a little bit too close to take. But that's a beautiful pitch. Jesse Chavez, he came up with the perfect pitch.
Now the former Oakland A spent 10 years in the athletics organization, signed by them out of the Dominican Republic. Ball 1. The major leagues from 97 to 2003.
Tejada is 2 for 6 in his career. Off of Chavez.
2-0 count. In there, 2-1. Kansas City looking for a big hit, trying to get back in this game.
That's the one Tejada wanted right there. He's looking in.
Towards the right side. And Tejada racing, and safe! A run scores. The hustle of Miggy.
I hope he's okay. I hope he's all right, because look, whenever you try to get that last step in there before your dive, sometimes you can hurt yourself. That's a great effort right there by the 39-year-old Tejada. He's got enough to give his teammates. Chavez, he thought he beat him, but this ball here, great play by Moss. That ball is going to go in the outfield. And Tejada says, you know what, I'm belly flop or not, he's hungry, he's intense, and he's going to do everything he can to help his team win.
What a great example. Well, there's another one. This one going Kansas City's way.
Be careful with them fingers and thumbs and stuff. Tejada, I'll tell you, he was rewarded with that effort.
That should have been an out. Instead, the inning continues. The Royals will bring the tying run to the plate in Eric Hosmer.
And it's hustle like that that really can be contagious to his team. I'm thinking he's cramping up a little bit. Because I could just tell by the way he went down and his legs a little bit testy here in this nice warm afternoon.
Ball 1 to Hosmer. See what he has done in his career with the bases loaded. Still has not gotten one over the wall, but hitting well over 360 with the bags full. And they are with Kataris, Dyson, and Tejada on. The second baseman, Sogard, will throw him out, and that will do it for the Kansas City rally. They do get 2 in the 6th inning. They pulled to within 4 of Oakland.
is the all-star pitcher number 1, throwing more innings, lower ERA, lower whip, not quite as many strikeouts as pitcher number 2. One of these guys is going to the all-star game. One is not. Which one do you guys like better?
I'm going with a guy that has the higher numbers.
Or the lower numbers, the ERA and the whip. You like pitcher number 1?
I want to go with this guy here.
You want to go with 2, even though he has. You like the higher ERA and the higher whip?
I'm going with him.
There you go.
How about that? James Shields.
Pretty interesting.
Over Justin Verlander.
Yeah, pretty interesting how much those numbers are similar. But James Shields, what we did not show you, is 3 and 6. Justin Verlander is 9 and 5. But their numbers are extremely comparable.
Yep.
Run support.
Joel, that was a trick question. You're going to have to work on that if you're going to be.
I thought it was an exceptional game that we can start.
It was a good game, and it's a great trick question, unless you're a tricky person like HUD, who then goes with the illogical answer.
That's exactly right.
Shallow Thoughts by the Wonder Dog.
Oh, that's a segment title right there. Hey, I wanted to bring up another topic. I was upstairs talking with umpire supervisor Steve Palermo, and there's no question that play from earlier at first base, that would have been a hard replay, and you could talk to a bunch of different people and hear out or safe. But what he told me was, and of course, again, the whole thing about tie goes to the runner, not in the rule book, doesn't exist. But he says there's no such thing as a tie because an umpire, even on a bang-bang play, sees it one way or another. He's either out or he's safe. No different than a really close call. It's either a ball or it's a strike. He says never in his career did he sit there and say, ooh, they got there at the same time. That umpire's going to have a reaction. Eric Cooper at that point had his reaction. The last one with Tejada, he'll go back later and see that he was wrong. But there's no such thing as a tie because umpires don't see it that way. They see it either out or safe. End of story.
That is roped down the line. Derek Norris in his first at bat is limited to a single because of the Gold Glove left-hander Kansas City has in Alex Gordon. Will Smith starting his second inning of work. Bruce Chen gave up 2 runs in 4 2/3 innings, 4 1/3. Josh Reddick has had a tremendous series already and skies this one to right center field. Dyson makes the catch, and Norris, who is halfway towards second base, now retreats. 1 out. Here's what Joel was talking about, the 2 plays at first, and both have gone Kansas City's way. Tejada, his hand got there just after the pitcher touched the bag with his right foot.
So, I mean, sorry, on this one here, instant replay could have easily overturned that.
Yeah. Well, let me just reiterate what Joel was saying. As I Googled tie goes to the runner in baseball.
You did?
Okay? Yeah. So it says absolutely. Does it not mean? Hold on a second.
Hey, Fizz, what's going on?
No.
Hey, he's
How's your
decoding
day?
Google.
Let me be literal. Nowhere in the rules of baseball does it say tie goes to the runner, Joel. How about that information?
So that your research led you to that?
That's all it says.
I got to get on this Google more often.
This could be 2. Johnson gets it to Tejada. He got it late out of his glove, so it is just a fielder's choice, going 6-4.
You know, Hud, if you'd fallen off the mule yesterday, I could have at least understood.
No, but you were right. You were right, Joel. I was just trying to reiterate that fact. But look, you were also right yesterday when you said I've had at least 7 concussions in my career. So you were right. I'm going to say more than that.
Oh, we've seen the collision into the head collision into the wall with the Cardinals.
That was just one small one. But Tejada couldn't get a grip on it, or else they'd have had a pair.
Hud, you're the best.
Oh, sorry for hanging with me, guys. Oh, no.
Sogard deep to right field, and he leaned on that one and hit it way out. And that makes it 10-4 Oakland. It was as if he knew what was coming. His first home run of the year. So Oakland with 3 home runs on the afternoon. They now have 94 this year. The Royals have belted too, but both of theirs have been solo shots by left-handers Kataris and Alex Gordon. Johnson's throw is a good one to catch Coco Crisp, but 2 more come across for Oakland. They have improved the lead to 10-4 over Kansas City.
Yankees as the Royals will head to the Bronx later this afternoon. Cleveland comes back after blowing that 6-1 lead. Toronto all over Minnesota. Big day for Colby Rasmus up there at the Sky Dome, or Rogers Center as they call it now. Tampa Bay wins 3-1. David Price, nice outing for him. A.J. Pierzynski leading the way for Texas. The Battle of Texas, Houston and the Rangers tied. Boston and L.A. tonight. Let's go to the Bronx for our Mazda game break. And we know what happens. Mariano Rivera is money almost always, but not in this one. Cannot hold a 1-0 lead. A 2-run home run by Adam Jones is the difference. And Mariano Rivera with the rare blown save. He's had plenty of them throughout his career because he's been around so long, but doesn't happen too much, guys. Something tells me he'll be ready to bounce back against the Royals.
Well, the Royals will take on those Yanks the next 4, Monday through Thursday, and then at Cleveland before the All-Star break. All 7 are on Fox Sports Kansas City. Heading to Yankee Stadium. And that's going to be fun, Rex, because I always like it when Kansas City or any opposing team goes to New York. There's an energy about that building that I think a lot of times brings out the best in an opponent.
There's no question. It's the Big Apple. However, that new ballpark has nothing over the old one. Nothing.
No, you're right. But this new one has a short, very, very short right field porch And with left-handed swingers like Gordon and Hosmer and Moustakas, well, they might go take one for a ride or two. Billy Butler is 0 for 3 and just 3 hits in his last 22 at bats. He did reach one trip, and that was on the error by Sogard. Chavez, a 6'2" right-hander out of Victorville, California. This is his 4th big league season. At his college ball at Riverside Community College. We told you was with the Royals and pitched here in 2010 and 2011. Moving over to Oakland, and he's been one of their middle relievers. Came in with a 3.62 earned run average, but they have 5 relievers with ERAs at 3 or below. That is extremely impressive. That's Bob Melvin's key to success. Get the lead to their bullpen, and Butler swings and misses and strikes out. Make your baseball dreams a reality, fans. At the Royals Fantasy Camp in January of 2014, you'll be guided by Royals legends as you suit up in your Royals uniform. Join a team, get personal instruction from Royals alumni, and play several games at the Surprise, Arizona spring training facility. This one will be 1 week you will never forget. Participants must be 30 years or older. For more information, go to royals.com/fantasycamp. Lorenzo Cain pops it up, shallow right. Reddick was battling the sun, but recovers to make the catch for out number 2. Reddick with an impressive series against Kansas City. A couple of more hits today, 4 driven in, a double, a home run. He has supplied a lot of the power throughout the series as the Athletics trying to take 2 of the 3 games from KC, and the Royals would finish with a 3-3 homestand. Here's Mike Moustakas. He shot a double into the right center gap his last time up, and that drove in Lorenzo Cain, who had singled. The Royals scored their 4th run on the base hit by Miguel Tejada. That is rolled to the first baseman for the 3rd time by Moose, so he is now 1 for 4 in the final out of this 7th inning. It's 10-4 Oakland. Royals baseball is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com. Steve Pisiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at the K, where the Athletics have dominated Kansas City from the very beginning. Luis Mendoza got the start for KC and only lasted an inning and 2/3 and gave up 5 runs. Well, this is her first Royals game. Congratulations. Way to go.
Ah, man, we're happy.
Come back.
Look at that sign, too, Fizz. That took a long time to make. The lady's excited about being here. Oh, maybe it's the little boy's first game. All right.
Well, you never can tell. She was holding the sign.
Give it to her. Oh, she got a ball.
You're kidding.
Oh, perfect.
How about that?
Look at that. Matt Gallego, third base
There
coach.
is
There it
the
is.
first base game.
Oh, Fizz, that's beautiful. That makes her day.
I didn't see the baby in there when we showed that sign first time.
Oh, man, that's perfect timing.
Elliott Johnson over the top. Nice play.
I mean, you know what? That lady now, she's pumped for her kid. Now they're really excited. They got the baby up saying, yeah, we got action. We got a ball. Oh, yeah.
That's fun at the old ballpark. Rex, I got tickets for friends of mine at the Big A years ago, and they were sitting in one of those luxury suites. And Troy Gloss of the Angels was up and fouled a pitch back. Right before he had fouled the pitch back, she had yelled out, "Come on, Troy, do a home run." Well, the ball's fouled back. It rolls down the screen and right into her lap. And so, of course, she shows me the baseball the next day. So I grab the baseball, I take it in, and I have Troy Gloss sign from Troy Gloss, "Do a home run." There is a foul ball struck the left side. But that's what the game's all about.
Every day there are memories made. Because every single day at the ballpark.
And that baby is teething on a Major League Baseball.
Let it go.
Ah, that's so sweet.
Right before that foul ball, actually in the commercial, when we saw that sign, I told my producer, let me go down and give them the ball. And he goes, no, Hud, she'll get one. And he was right on cue.
Incredible.
First hitter bounces one right to him.
Will Smith came down and in. That was that back leg slider that he throws to right-handed batters, and Donaldson was able to escape from being hit. And the count's full 3-2 as Donaldson has been on twice with a single and a walk. The Athletics with 5 in the second. Royals countered with 1 in the second, but Oakland came right back with 2 in the third. They scored another in the 6th and 2 in the 7th. KC got a run in the 5th and 2 in the 6th. They actually had the tying run at the plate in that 6th inning, but could not get the grand slam that would have tied the game. That ball out of play.
And that kid was begging for the ball, and he got it.
He's an Alex Gordon fan. Again, Donaldson fouls it off as Smith makes pitch after pitch trying to get Josh out.
Kid going, hey, are you sure you don't want this ball back? He said, nah, I got plenty of them.
Donaldson hits one high and deep, and Dyson will not reach this one. So Josh with his second base hit of this game. It's a double.
Put a charge into that. And I talk about using your top hand. That's exactly what he did. Ball was elevated, so he made sure that top hand stayed on the ball. Very nice level swing. He was talking to that ball, telling it to get out.
David Lowe taking over for Alex Gordon in left field with the game getting out of reach. A strike thrown to Yoenis Cespedes, who is 2 for 4 today. 10 runs on 15 hits for the A's, 4 on 9 for Kansas City.
Got to be able to pitch this guy inside or away, because you don't want him to get his arms extended.
So Will grabs the advantage at 1-2. When this game started, Detroit had a 6-game lead on Kansas City and 3.5 up on Cleveland, but after the Tigers took the first 2 games of that series with the Tribe, Cleveland finally was able to rally and win today 9-6. Cespedes swings and misses at that breaking ball and strikes out. So 2 gone here in the 8th inning.
Okay. Will Smith, he stayed with that breaking ball.
Brandon Moss, the batter, he was robbed of a hit. A wonderful sliding catch by Alex Gordon in the 2nd. Singled in the 3rd, flied out in the 4th, struck out in the 6th. White Sox lost again, 3-1 the final score there. So the Sox now are 34-51. They have been in a dive lately. 1 ball, 1 strike. The A's came in with a half-game lead on Texas, and Texas leading Houston 5-4 in the 6th inning. Astros got them last night. Toronto beat Minnesota 11-5. The Twins have been struggling ever since they left Kansas City. Lost 8 of their last 11. That's rolled to Johnson. Should take care of it. And he does. And that's the final out of the 8th inning for the Oakland Athletics. But they have a 6-run lead going to the bottom of the 8th.
Come to the K, folks, for your first game, and you might get lucky just like that little girl did. Yes.
it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Congratulations, Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon, the Royals 2 All-Stars.
And Alex went ahead and said, well, since I am an All-Star, I better show you I am one. He walked, he had a single, and in the 5th inning, he hit that solo homer. It was a beauty. Salvador said, yep, that's me, pana. He's my buddy. Going with him.
Much of the excitement today has been for Athletics fans. They have a 10-4 lead, and they opened it up early as they knocked out Luis Mendoza after just an inning and 2/3. He gave up all 5 runs in the second. And it was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde performance where he was able to get the side in order in the first inning on 7 pitches, and then couldn't get out of the second inning after throwing 35 pitches. George Kataris steps to the plate. He's been on twice. Home run in the second, lied out right in the 4th, and walked in the 6th. Chavez has done a very good job keeping Kansas City quiet. George, the most disciplined of the Kansas City hitters, works a good count at 3-1. He walks again. Man, I love to watch him at the plate. 2 walks today, now 14 this year. And Rex, we're talking about a guy who has only enjoyed 51 at-bats coming into this game.
Yeah, no, it's his day. Whenever he sees his name on that lineup, it's focus time, and he has not disappointed.
Elliott Johnson, the batter, strike 1. Elliott 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts today. He had a hit and a walk yesterday. Down the line, backhanded beautifully by Donaldson. Wow, what a play by Josh.
Boy, that was quick. I mean, he fielded that. I thought I was going to get by him. And Elliott Johnson, he's a little bit baffled too. He's thinking, man, how do I get ahead? He catches it and fires it. We couldn't even keep the camera on him. It was so quick. Look at that. Getting on that back foot.
Gerard Dyson punched a single to right field to load the bases back in the 6th. And now he pops one up to center field. Young there, and he makes the catch. Dyson 1 for 4 this afternoon.
Here, there's George Kataris. He's got his shin guards on. Now he's getting ready to go out and do some more duty. It never gets old talking about a player that doesn't get a chance to play every day, but when he does, he gives you everything he's got. Sitting down there by that fan, he needs to be cool. He's been working hard. In this game, tough day. Salvador, the All-Star, getting a breather. He's out there doing exactly what they expect him to do. Now, you don't expect him to do many great things in your 1 start a week. When you do one good thing and you've already had a good game, and George has done 3. A couple times getting on with a walk and that nice solo home run for his 4th has been solid.
David Lowe quickly gets 2 strikes on him. Solid year at .291 with a couple of home runs. And then he hits it to the first baseman, Moss, who will make the play. The Royals go quietly in the 8th. To the 9th we go. All Oakland this afternoon. 10-4 over KC. Brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. And by Farmland, introducing Boulevard Brats. Here's to the home team. Kansas City, though, finds themselves down 10-4 here on a warm, sunny Sunday afternoon. By the way, fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. KC hopes to go on the road and grab some victories from those Yankees and the Indians. J.C. Gutierrez will come out of the bullpen. Will Smith gave the team 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, a couple of home runs, one by Lowry and one by Sogard. So here in the top of the 9th inning, Gutierrez to face Derek Norris, Josh Reddick, and Chris Young. Those are the scheduled hitters. Norris did single to left his first time up. All one high to Derek Norris.
Tell you, this guy Derek Norris, he's very valuable to his team. He's a good hitting catcher. Hit a 3-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning Tuesday versus the Cubs. Ended up being the winning home run.
Hosmer will give it a chase and make the catch just in front of the gate, protecting the players. Falling into the dugout. Eric with a nice play, and there's one out. Hey, Rick, so I wanted to ask you about the Ricky Nolasco trade the other day after this replay where Hosmer made the catch. Just yesterday, Nolasco traded from the Marlins to the Dodgers for 3 prospects, and the Dodgers beginning to make a move. They pulled within 4.5 games of first place in the National League West.
Yeah, you know what? Donnie Mattingly, he's got these guys playing a pretty good caliber of ball. It's not how you start, it's how you finish up, and they're moving their way towards the top. Add a pitcher. They needed some pitching. Do it. So Dodgers are the new version of the old New York Yankees. They needed a player, they'd go out and get one somehow, some way. Money was not an issue.
That's because of that huge contract they got, their local TV deal. So they just kind of turned it over to get players. Magic Johnson, part of that ownership team. Ball struck well to center field. Dyson will make the catch for the second out. So Reddick is out number 2. 3 times he has flied out to Dyson. But Kansas City still has a better record than those Dodgers. They started the day with a record of 41-45. Kansas City's record at the start of today was 41-43. So that's what you keep talking about, just grinding through these tough times.
Yep, and just scrap and claw and get back to 500. That's going to be their call.
Chris Young pops it up a mile high. Elliott Johnson searching for it, finds it, makes the catch. Good job by Gutierrez. And that is the first time the Royals have had a clean 1, 2, 3 inning this afternoon. To 4, but you can get closer to the action at the K with the new seat upgrade option using the MLB.com at the ballpark app. Simply choose Kauffman Stadium, hit the upgrade seat button to improve your seat, and then enjoy the game with your new tickets. So find your perfect seat while at the K with the seat upgrade feature on the At the Ballpark app. Miguel Tejada will lead things off for Kansas City in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by 6. Jesse Chavez has done a great job quieting the Royals offense in the last 3 innings. He came on in relief of Blevins, who really struggled coming out of the pen after A.J. Griffin gave his team 5 innings and will get the win if the score remains favorable to Oakland. Tejada, Hosmer, and Butler here in the bottom half of the 9th. Miggy waves at that offering and strikes out. So Tejada with a 2 for 5 afternoon. And a reminder that Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery will be talking about this game after the contest on Boulevard Royals Live. He'll be up there in Rivals. Here's Eric Hosmer, 1 for 4, a single up the middle in the 5th inning.
Watching Miguel after swinging at that pitch, he didn't want to go. No player wants to give away any at bats, even in a game like this.
And that is rolled up the middle and past the shortstop Lowry into center field. So 2 seeing eye base hits by Eric, and he has a 2 for 5 show.
There you go. Another ball that had topspin on it, but he's going the right direction with it, right back up the middle.
That first baseman saying, I need some of those hits. But then yesterday, Eric Hosmer, his first time up, crushed one right to the second baseman. So it all kind of evens out. And Billy Butler, he's been stretching his strike zone a bit.
A little anxious.
And Billy said, when I get hot, I actually get more patient. He waves at a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Billy in a little bit of a slide. We told you just 3 hits in his last 23 at-bats. And they need his production from the 4 spot. He rolls that one to second base. Not good. 4-6. Oh, it gets away from the first baseman, Brandon Moss. I tell you, here's what I liked about this play, Hud. Hosmer tried to break up that double play, even with his team down by 6 runs.
Yeah, I like that too. Way to go after him.
That's a professional.
Yeah, this is a routine, but Hosmer says, you know what? I'm still going to
play the game right.
Get after you.
Now Lorenzo Cain up with Butler at first base. Cain 1 for 4 with a run scored. Strike 1. Strike 2. Kansas City won 2 of the first 3 games of this homestand against the Cleveland Indians. They're about ready to drop 2 of 3 to Oakland, so a homestand that is 3-3, going to New York City, take on the Yankees. Jeremy Guthrie tomorrow night, and he will be opposed in that Yankee rotation by Phil Hughes. Tuesday should be a classic with James Shields matched up against CC Sabathia. That's a little flare to the second baseman. He touches the bag, ends the game, and Oakland wins their 52nd game this year. Jed Lowry muscled up and hit one all the way to the water.
Yep, back in the 6th inning. Ooh, he got a hanger from Smith and didn't miss it. That's a 10-pounder.
Catch and release. Fourth play of the game. We'll come back to close it out right after this.